talk through another use case, comparing a particular topic from the previous year to this year. Here I've taken the example of gift giving. Let's say, gift giving is an important part of our business, and we want to determine if the culture of gift giving is going through an evolution between the previous year to this year. So here I'm comparing the culture of gift giving between 2016 and 2017. And I want to show you how to run one of these searches and really explore the resulting impact or any shifts that might be impending. One of the first things you'll notice here when you look at my search results is when you look at the 2016 results, quite a mainstream trend, gift giving. When you focus on the top attitudes and the motivations, you'll notice that it's really driven by people who are doing things for their family, upholding traditions, buying local, advocating for environmental protection. So there's some of that as well that's going on here. But really, if you look at the top motivations here, really driven by this notion of providing, taking care of family. The top attitudes, the top motivations revolve around making an effort, proving that they are driven by a higher set of values and purpose, proving their sophistication knowledge also ranks up there. And then the strength of connection drops a little bit, but it's about protecting their rituals and having their priorities right. The biggest fear is letting their loved ones down, right? So straight away, 2016 gift giving was all about doing things right for the loved ones. And the top values, family devotion, traditionalism, traditional gender norms. So you can also imagine gendered gift giving is also part of that culture. When I compare this to 2017, one of the first things you notice is that the market size has actually shrunk a little bit. This is a great example where this doesn't mean that less people are buying gifts. That's not what this calculation is doing. What this calculation is showing us is that something has changed in the culture of gift giving, which means the meanings that consumers associate with the act of gift giving. Something has changed there. And because something has changed, the context of that change has affected the potential market size for it. So straight away, the key question I would have when I would look at something like this is, what is it that's driving that particular change? Why have the meanings that people associate with the idea of gift giving, why have they changed in culture, and why has the core market shrunk from 155 million in 2016 to 50 million in 2017? Straight away, one of the top things you'll notice is that the top motivations and attitudes are actually very different. In fact, everything is different. Top motivations, attitudes, fears, and values, they're all very different. The top attitude is about experiences. So one of the first things I'll take away from this is possibly this idea that maybe it's less about buying items, but rather about gift giving being about experiences. So less about, buying a product and more about potentially buying and experiencing something with somebody. You'll also notice that products from local smaller companies being more authentic. It's an attitude that has also jumped to the top. You also notice food is the third attitude. In fact, also the fourth attitude. So again, and the sixth attitude. So it's showing us that potentially food-based experiences have also become more important in 2017. And on the motivation side, the top motivation is proving my sophistication knowledge. Again, different from what we saw. And the top value is artistic expression. And the top fear is committing a social faux pas. So people are now afraid of what they're giving as gifts, and they want to make sure that they're giving the right things as gifts. And of course, a simple way to just compare the two would be simply to hit the compare tab here and to look at the data between 2016 and 2017 and to realize that the culture of gift giving itself is undergoing a shift over the course of the year, which means obviously it impacts everything from what kinds of products and solutions we offer as a business for the act of gift giving, as well as the way we cater the experiences around gift giving, and of course, the way we go to market with our products and solutions around gift giving. I'll stop here. Of course, there's tons of questions that this example certainly jogs in my mind. and it makes me want to explore, and I could certainly spend easily an hour exploring this idea of experiences and the meanings in culture around experiences and around experiences related to food and things like that. And certainly I would recommend exploring those topics further to further understand this idea of gift giving and the change in culture. But this is just a quick example to show you how you can quickly set a time constraint by clicking on options here and then changing the time or the date range of your search and examine a particular trend or a particular topic and look for changes either between a quarter or year over year. The one thing to keep in mind is if you are looking for an adoption curve calculation, there is a minimum requirement of 1 year search. If you run a search for anything less than 1 year, you will get an error. At this point in time, that message will get a little bit more polished as we continue our beta tests, and basically with the system in the future will tell you that there's insufficient data for us to run a adoption curve or a maturity calculation, but it's just something to keep in mind. Thank you.